If you had told me 6 months ago that my miracle would come in the form of a scared, silent 19-year-old girl I found shivering on my doorstep, I would have laughed in your face. But then again, I wasn't doing much laughing back then. I was just struggling. And if you've ever felt like you're one missed paycheck away from drowning, then you, my friend, you know exactly where I was. So stick around, because this is a story about how the most broken pieces can sometimes fit together to make something whole again. And if this story touches your heart, well, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what we share next. My name is Mark, and my world was a small, tired orbit around my 7-year-old son, Leo. Leo was everything to me, a whirlwind of sunshine with my late wife Sarah's curious eyes. She'd been gone for 3 years, a slow, cruel theft by cancer that left me a hollowed-out shell trying to fill the impossible shoes of both mother and father. I worked 2 jobs, a mechanic by day, a stock clerk by night, and every day was a frantic race against a clock that was always winning. The sink was always full of dishes, the laundry basket was always overflowing, and the look in Leo's eyes when I'd have to tell him, "Not tonight, buddy, Dad's too tired," was a fresh shard of glass in my heart every single time. The night it happened, it was pouring rain, the kind of cold, relentless downpour that seems to wash all the color out of the world. I'd just gotten home from my second shift, my body aching, my spirit brittle. Leo was at a neighbor's, and all I could think about was the 5 hours of sleep I might get if I was lucky. That's when I saw her. A hunched figure on my front porch, soaked to the bone, huddled under the small overhang as if trying to become one with the wood. My first instinct was fear, then annoyance. Who is this stranger on my property? Can I help you? I asked, my voice sharper than I intended. She flinched and looked up. Her face was pale, her eyes wide and impossibly old. She couldn't have been more than a girl, but there was a lifetime of hurt in those eyes. She was clutching a small, sodden backpack to her chest like a shield. "Are you Mark?" she whispered, her voice barely audible over the drumming rain. "Yeah, who are you?" She swallowed hard. "My name is Elara. Your mother. She knew my grandma. She said if I was ever in trouble, I should find you." I froze. My mother had been a social worker, a woman with a heart so big it finally gave out on her 2 years prior. This sounded like something she would do. But me, I could barely take care of my own son. The last thing I needed was another mouth to feed, another problem to solve. Every logical bone in my body screamed to give her $20 and send her on her way. But then I looked at her. Really looked. She was shivering violently, and it wasn't just from the cold. There was a deep, fundamental terror in her posture. I remembered my mother's voice. "Everyone needs a port in a storm, Mark. Even if it's just for a little while." With a sigh that came from the depths of my exhaustion, I opened the door wider. "Get inside. You'll catch your death." That first week was awkward. Elara was a ghost in our home. She barely spoke, jumping at every sudden noise. She'd clean the kitchen spotlessly at 3 a.m., or fold laundry with a military precision that broke my heart. It was as if she was trying to earn her keep, terrified of being thrown back out into the storm. Leo, ever the open-hearted child, was fascinated by her. He'd leave his crayon drawings outside her door, or ask her quiet questions about the stories he was reading. Slowly, very slowly, she began to respond to him. It was through Leo that I started to learn her story, in broken fragments. Her parents, it turned out, weren't just neglectful. They were monsters. Deep in debt and deeper into their addictions, they had sold her to a man, a much older man, to settle a debt. They had literally handed their daughter over, treating her like property. She'd escaped on the eve of the wedding, running with nothing but the clothes on her back and an address my mother had given her grandmother a lifetime ago. Hearing that, the last of my resentment melted away, replaced by a fierce, protective anger. This girl wasn't a burden, she was a survivor. The turning point came about a month later. Leo had a major science project due, a complex model of the solar system. It was the kind of project Sarah would have loved, the kind I had no time or creative energy for. I'd promised him we'd work on it, but my night shift got extended, and I came home to find him in tears at the kitchen table, surrounded by a mess of styrofoam balls and tangled paint brushes. "I can't do it, Dad. It's ruined," he sobbed. I felt that familiar, crushing wave of parental failure. I was about to offer some hollow consolation when Elara quietly walked over. She hadn't said more than 10 words to me directly since she arrived. But she looked at Leo, then at me, and her voice was soft but clear. I'm good at art. I can help him, if you want. I just nodded, too emotionally drained to speak. For the next 3 hours, I watched a miracle unfold at my kitchen table. Elara, with a patience I could never muster, guided Leo's small hands. She showed him how to mix colors for Jupiter's stripes, how to carefully place the glittering rings around Saturn. She didn't just do it for him, she taught him. She brought laughter and focus back to his face. And when they were done, it wasn't just a school project, it was a masterpiece. In that moment, I didn't see a broken girl or a struggling single dad. I saw a family. Elara began to blossom after that. She started talking more, even smiling. She took over making Leo's lunches, drawing little cartoon animals on his napkins. She helped him with his reading, her quiet encouragement doing more for his confidence than my frantic efforts ever had. She started attending online community college classes, studying graphic design. The ghost was becoming a person, and our house, for the first time since Sarah died, was starting to feel like a home. She was filling the cracks I didn't even know were there. But the true test, the moment she became my undeniable miracle, was still to come. The garage where I worked as a mechanic was sold, and the new owners brought in their own team. I was laid off with a week's notice. The panic was immediate and suffocating. My night job alone wouldn't cover the mortgage, wouldn't put food on the table. I spent days scrambling, applying everywhere, but the rejections piled up. The walls were closing in again, and this time, I had more than just myself to lose. I was sitting at the kitchen table, my head in my hands, staring at a final eviction notice, the weight of it all finally crushing me. I had failed. I had failed Sarah, I was failing Leo, and now I was failing Elara, too. Mark. Elara's voice was gentle. I couldn't even look up. It's fine, Elara. It'll be fine. The light tasted like ash. She sat down across from me. I heard you on the phone. I know about the eviction. She took a deep breath. I have an idea. But I need your permission. She showed me her laptop. She had created an entire online portfolio, not for graphic design, but for custom, hand-painted children's sneakers. They were incredible. Whimsical dragons, detailed superheroes, entire galaxies swirling across tiny canvas shoes. She'd been using her allowance to buy cheap sneakers and paint, creating them in secret. My Instagram account, she said, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and hope. It has over 50,000 followers. People have been asking to buy them for months. We could start a small business. Together. You could handle the orders, the shipping, the finances. I could paint. It was insane. It was a Hail Mary. But looking at the stunning art on her screen and the desperate hope in her eyes, I saw a lifeline. We dove in. We called it Starlight Souls. I used my last bit of savings to buy supplies. I turned our dusty garage into a workshop and shipping station. Elara painted day and night, her talent pouring out of her in a brilliant, healing river. And the orders, they flooded in. Within 2 months, we had saved the house. Within 4, I was able to quit my night job. For the first time in years, I was there to tuck Leo in every night. I was there to read him stories. I was there to watch him grow up. Elara wasn't just the girl I took in. She was the artist who saved our home. She was the big sister Leo adored. She was the reminder that family isn't always about blood, it's about who shows up in your storm, who helps you rebuild when everything is broken. So, you see, that's my story. A struggling single dad who almost turned away a stranger in the rain, unaware that she was an angel in disguise, carrying the very miracle we needed to save each other. She saved me from my despair, and I like to think we saved her from hers. We taught each other that your darkest moment can be the beginning of your brightest dawn. If this story reminded you of the power of a second chance, of the beauty of found family, then do me a favor, share a bit of that kindness in your own world. And if you want to follow along as our little family continues its journey, well, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.